Bison. Few animals represent North America better than the bison. Standing face to face with one, it's easy to see why. A full-grown bull can weigh close to 1,000 kilograms, making it one of the largest land mammals on the continent. Its massive head, curved horns, and thick coat give it a powerful appearance that's hard to ignore. One feature stands out more than anything else: the enormous hump above its shoulders. Far from being just a distinctive shape, it's packed with powerful muscles. During winter, the bison uses that strength to sweep deep snow aside, uncovering the grass hidden beneath. Without it, surviving the frozen plains would be far more difficult. Bison spend most of their lives roaming open grasslands, river valleys, and lightly wooded areas. Their daily routine is simple: graze, rest, move with the herd. But life on the plains is anything but easy. Scorching summers, freezing winters, and sudden storms constantly test their endurance. Their thick coat provides remarkable insulation, allowing snow to collect across their backs while they continue grazing almost unaffected. Despite their enormous size, bison are surprisingly fast. When threatened, they can sprint far faster than most people expect. In spring, reddish-orange calves are born and quickly learn one important lesson: stay close to the herd. That protection is essential, especially when predators and harsh weather threaten young animals. There was a time when bison nearly disappeared from North America. Overhunting reduced their numbers from tens of millions to only a few hundred individuals. Thanks to decades of conservation, the species has made an impressive recovery. Today, bison once again roam protected grasslands, standing as powerful symbols of resilience and one of the greatest wildlife success stories in North America. Gaur. The gaur is the largest wild cattle species on Earth. Found in the forests of India and Southeast Asia, it stands as one of the most powerful herbivores in the region. A fully grown bull can weigh well over 1 ton. Its muscular body, sweeping horns, and distinctive white lower legs give it an unmistakable appearance. Despite its immense size, the gaur is surprisingly calm. Rather than searching for conflict, it spends most of its day grazing on grasses, leaves, bamboo, and fallen fruit as it moves quietly through the forest. Gaurs live in family herds led by experienced females. Young calves remain safely in the center of the group, surrounded by adults that provide constant protection. This simple formation helps defend the herd from predators. Even tigers, the largest cats in Asia, usually avoid healthy adult gaurs. Their enormous size and incredible strength make them dangerous opponents that few predators are willing to challenge. But surviving in today's forests has become increasingly difficult. Habitat loss continues to shrink the areas where gaurs can roam, while diseases carried by domestic livestock pose an additional threat to wild populations. Quiet, powerful, and built like living tanks, gaurs remain the undisputed giants of Asia's forests and one of the continent's most impressive mammals. Wild yak. Few places on Earth are as harsh as the Tibetan Plateau. The air is thin, winters are unforgiving, and freezing winds sweep across endless open grasslands. Yet for the wild yak, this extreme landscape is home. Its long, shaggy coat hangs almost to the ground, protecting its body from the bitter cold and relentless mountain winds. Beneath that thick layer of fur is another remarkable adaptation. A broad chest and powerful lungs allow the wild yak to thrive at altitudes where oxygen is scarce. While many animals struggle to survive in these conditions, wild yaks spend their days calmly grazing on tough mountain grasses and crossing vast alpine plains. Females and calves live together in protective herds. Older bulls, however, often leave the group and spend much of their lives alone. Despite their enormous size, wild yaks move confidently across steep, rocky terrain with surprising agility. Every step reflects thousands of years of adaptation to life high above sea level. Even here, survival is never guaranteed. Heavy snow can bury the grasses they depend on, while hunting has reduced wild populations in parts of their range. Strong, patient, and perfectly adapted to one of the world's most demanding environments, the wild yak remains the true giant of the Tibetan Plateau. Musk Ox. The musk ox looks like an animal from another age, and in many ways it is. This ancient mammal has survived in the Arctic since the Ice Age, enduring conditions that few large animals could withstand. Its long outer coat nearly reaches the ground, shielding its body from freezing winds. Beneath that heavy layer of hair lies an extraordinary undercoat known as kiviyut. It's one of the warmest natural fibers in the world, providing exceptional insulation against the brutal Arctic cold. Musk oxen roam the open tundra, where winters are long. Temperatures plunge far below freezing, and food is often buried beneath deep snow. They survive by digging through the snow to reach grasses, mosses, and other hardy plants hidden underneath. But their most remarkable adaptation appears when danger arrives. When wolves approach, musk oxen don't scatter. Instead, The adults gather shoulder to shoulder, forming a tight defensive circle with their horns pointing outward. The calves remain safely protected in the center, while the adults stand their ground against the attackers. It's a strategy that has helped the species survive for thousands of years. Ancient, resilient, and remarkably cooperative, the musk ox proves that in one of the harshest environments on Earth, survival sometimes depends on facing danger together rather than running from it. Cape buffalo. Few animals in Africa command as much respect as the Cape buffalo. Even lions approach them with caution. At first glance, they may look like ordinary grazing animals, but one feature immediately sets them apart. Across the forehead, their massive horns fuse together into a thick shield known as a boss, providing powerful protection during fights. Cape buffalo are heavily built, muscular, and incredibly strong. They roam grasslands, wetlands, and woodlands across Africa, rarely straying far from reliable water sources. Most of the day is spent grazing, resting, and moving together in large herds. But their greatest strength isn't size alone. It's their loyalty. When a lion attacks, Cape buffalo don't always flee. Adults have been known to turn back, surrounding the predator and charging together to defend an injured herd member. That determination can quickly transform a successful hunt into a dangerous fight for survival. Life on the African plains is filled with challenges. Drought, disease, and powerful predators constantly test the herd. Yet, Cape buffalo continue to thrive across much of the continent, thanks to their resilience, strength, and remarkable teamwork. Powerful, fearless, and unwilling to back down, the Cape buffalo has earned its place as one of Africa's toughest animals. Wild water buffalo. The wild water buffalo is one of the largest and most powerful wild cattle on Earth. Native to the wetlands of South and Southeast Asia, it is perfectly adapted to life in marshes, floodplains, and slow-moving rivers. Its enormous body is matched by an equally impressive set of horns. In some individuals, the horns can span more than 2 meters from tip to tip, making them among the longest of any living bovine. Despite its formidable appearance, much of the buffalo's daily routine revolves around one simple habit: mud. Wild water buffalo spend hours wallowing in muddy pools and shallow wetlands. The thick layer of mud helps cool their bodies under the tropical sun, while protecting their skin from biting insects and parasites. They feed mainly on grasses and aquatic plants, moving easily through water in search of fresh vegetation. For such a massive animal, they're surprisingly graceful swimmers, crossing rivers and flooded landscapes with ease. But life in the wetlands is becoming increasingly difficult. As marshes disappear and wild herds interbreed with domestic buffalo, pure wild populations continue to decline. Massive, patient, and perfectly suited to life in waterlogged landscapes, the wild water buffalo remains one of Asia's most remarkable giants. Banteng. The banteng is one of the most elegant members of the wild cattle family. Its sleek body, rich chestnut coat, and striking white lower legs give it a graceful appearance, unlike any other wild bovine. But beneath that elegant look is a remarkably resilient animal. Banteng inhabit forests, open woodlands, and grassy clearings across Southeast Asia, where they quietly move between feeding grounds. Their diet consists mainly of grasses, young shoots, and fallen fruit. To avoid the heat of the day, they are often most active during the cooler hours of the morning and evening. Like many wild cattle, banteng have a clear social structure. Females and their calves live together in small family groups, while mature bulls often spend long periods roaming alone. Although they appear lighter and more refined than larger species such as gaurs or wild buffalo, banteng are well adapted to life in challenging forest environments. Unfortunately, hunting and the steady loss of their natural habitat have caused wild populations to decline across much of their range. Elegant, alert, and quietly resilient, the banteng is proof that survival isn't measured by size alone. Sometimes adaptability and endurance are an animal's greatest strengths. Anoa. The anoa may look like a miniature buffalo, but it's unlike any other wild cattle on Earth. Often called the dwarf buffalo, it's the smallest wild cattle species in the world. Its compact size isn't a weakness. It's the key to surviving in the dense rainforests of Indonesia's Sulawesi Island. Unlike its much larger relatives, the anoa can move quietly through thick vegetation, slipping between trees and tangled undergrowth with surprising ease. Anoas are naturally solitary animals. Most spend their lives alone, quietly browsing on leaves, fallen fruit, ferns, and other forest plants. Their shy behavior makes them incredibly difficult to spot. Even people living near their habitat may never see one in the wild. But life on a remote island brings its own challenges. As forests disappear and hunting continues, wild anoa populations have declined across much of their limited range. Small, elusive, and perfectly adapted to life beneath the rainforest canopy, the anoa is one of the world's most unusual wild cattle. Its story reminds us that survival isn't always about being the biggest. Sometimes staying hidden is the greatest advantage of all.